So, in conclusion, I say the Ace Pilot does its job a lot better. Towers like the Golden Minigunner, Accelerator, and Engineer just do a lot better than the Pursuit. There ain't no way that 2 days after I make a video comparing these two towers, the Pursuit gets an insane buff, making my video already outdated. But, you know.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
In this video, I'll be comparing the old Pursuit to the new one, showcasing its buffs and stat changes, as well as giving some tips on how to properly use it. Before I continue, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to join the Blue Hair Mafia. It helps me out a lot, and I really appreciate it. The base Pursuit used to cost 1000 cash, although 1 damage per hit, had a fire rate of 0.308, a range of 9, and a total DPS of 3.25. It now costs 3000 cash, deals 2 damage per hit, has a fire rate of 0.108, 8 range, and a total DPS of 18.52. The level 1 Pursuit used to cost a total of 1500 cash. It dealt 2 damage instead of 1, increasing its DPS to 6.49. It now costs a total of 3900 cash and deals 3 damage per hit, giving it a total DPS of 27.78. The level 2 Pursuit used to cost 2150 cash in total. It now fired 2 missiles every 5 seconds, which dealt 3 splash damage and had an explosion range of 10. Its total DPS was 7.69. It now costs a total of 5550 cash. It has 9.5 range, fires missiles every 7 seconds, and the missiles now deal 30 splash damage. It has a total DPS of 36.34. The level 3 Pursuit used to cost a total of 3650 cash. Its fire rate was reduced to 0.158, its range was increased to 10, and its missiles dealt 5 damage instead of 3. It had a total DPS of 14.66. It now costs a total of 10,050 cash. It deals 4 damage per hit, has a fire rate of 0.083, and fires missiles every 6 seconds. It has a total DPS of 58.19. The level 4 Pursuit used to have a total cost of 9,650. It dealt 4 damage per hit and fired 4 missiles instead of 2. It had a total DPS of 29.32. It now costs a total of 20,050 cash. It deals 7 damage per hit, has 10.5 range, fires 4 missiles, and has a total DPS of 110.443. Finally, the level 5 Pursuit used to cost a total of 19,150 cash. It dealt 8 damage per hit, had a fire rate of 0.108, a range of 12, fired 6 missiles at once, and had a total DPS of 80.07. It also gained hidden detection. It now costs a total of 45,050 cash. It deals 12 damage per hit, can see hiddens, and deals a total of 174.57 DPS. Overall, the price of the Pursuit has increased significantly, and in return, so has its DPS. This makes the Pursuit so much better. You see, one problem cheap towers have is that they max out quickly. In a quad game, you can only place 20 towers, so if your only damaging tower was a Golden Scout, you wouldn't get very far in the late game. A high cost, high DPS tower allows you to spend a lot more of your money before maxing out, making it very useful in the late game. Now, 174.57 is undoubtedly a huge amount. You may be thinking that the Accelerator Engineer still outclassed the Pursuit by a lot. Well, one thing that the wiki leaves out when calculating DPS is the fact that the missiles deal splash damage. By themselves, the missiles have a DPS of 30. Let's say that the Pursuit is hitting at least 3 enemies with each of its missiles. That gives the missiles an average DPS of 90. If we add that onto the Pursuit's 144.57 DPS from its machine gun, we get a total average DPS of 234.57. That's more than the Accelerator's average DPS. Not to mention, the Pursuit is also 3000 cash cheaper. So now that we've established that the Pursuit is good, how should you use it? Because of its high cost, I wouldn't recommend trying to use it in the early game. You'd be much better off using cheaper towers like the Golden Soldier, Golden Scout, or Gladiator. Where it really shines is mid to late game. Its high single target damage and crowd control using its missiles lets it handle pretty much anything. The only issue it has is its targeting. Because it flies around in a circle, it can sometimes miss fast enemies, such as the glitch, error, or tank. To make this less of an issue, make sure your Pursuit is flying counterclockwise against the track. This will make it easier for it to intercept enemies and lock onto them. In its current state, I would 100% rank the Pursuit as an S tier tower. I mean, just look at what Ed Cryptus said. It's an absolute beast, and I'd even consider it better than the Accelerator. However, that might be a hot take. It sucks that the only way to get it is by reaching level 100 or paying 1,500 Robux, but I'm really glad to see it get such a powerful buff. It really needed that buff, and I'm glad to see that the developers are starting to buff weaker towers to make the game have more variety. This video took a lot of time to make, so if you enjoyed, please hit that like button and subscribe to join the Blue Hair Mafia. I'll see you on the next video.